Today, I'm going to be talking about AI and how we can use it. As Evan said, this is a massively hot button topic right now. It feels like every time I log into Twitter or LinkedIn, there's a new feature, a new update, a new something. So I thought this presentation would be pretty timely, and I'm going to be talking about it today with everyone. So we've got a lot to get through. Let's not mess around and get straight into it. In the next 35 minutes, I'm going to be talking about 10 AI tools that you can use to decrease your costs and increase your creative output. How to generate AI UGC that looks legitimately real. My top ChatGPT prompts for turning customer reviews into ready to test ads. How to use MidJourney to create direct response ads the right way. A new tool that in beta that I have not yet spoke about on socials that is pretty mind-blowing. And finally, my predictions for AI and creative strategy over the next 12 months. Okay, I want to start off with a quick introduction about me, what I do, and Evan did a very good job there. I put a poll in the chat, just out of curiosity, who has seen my stuff before? Who has seen me anywhere on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube? Have you seen my content, or am I a complete stranger to you? Can anyone see that poll? I hope so. If not, just give me a Y or an N in the chat. Okay. Got it. A lot of returning faces, a lot of new faces. Great to see. Look, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Alex Cooper, co-founder at AdCrate. We work with 8- and 9-figure brands like Huel, Licorice, and The Perfect Gene. And what I do is I help people make better ads. So let's get into it. I want to start with some myth busting. A phrase that's bandied around a lot in this community right now is, AI will take our jobs. I see creative strategists say this. I see creators. I see media buyers. And look, I think this is reminiscent of a couple of historical events and technical changes that we've had before. And I always like to look back to look forward. So to me, this is reminiscent of a few events like in the 60s when the bank tellers said that ATMs will take our jobs. And then what happened? Well, the number of bank tellers and branches actually increased, and bank tellers took on more customer service and complex roles because of the ATMs allowed it to. Or in the 80s, when computers were supposed to take the jobs of clerical workers. And yes, some clerical worker jobs were eliminated, but it also created massive new industries like IT and software development and digital communication. Or something that's closer to home, online shopping will take our jobs, said by retail employees in the 90s. And that created e-commerce, logistics, warehousing, and the industry that a lot of us right now are working inside of, digital marketing. There are so many more examples I could give you guys, but the point that I'm trying to get across is history doesn't repeat itself, but it often does rhyme. And look, you could argue that this is different this time around, or it might happen faster with AI because we have technology now that's faster evolving because we've got more technology built. And at some point, artificial superintelligence will be able to improve itself. The point I'm trying to make is that what might feel uncommon or unprecedented to us right now, usually in most cases, we can look at patterns throughout history and at least observe something in some capacity. I don't know what's going to happen with AI. I really don't. But what I do know is that when there have been technological changes in the past, it usually makes the best better and the rest expendable. Those who are willing to adapt and embrace AI and use it will become a better marketer. Those who ignore AI and don't invest the time in learning it will get left behind. And look, this might seem a little bit sensationalist given the context of today's talk, but I promise you, over a 1-year, 2-year, 5-year time horizon, starting to bear hug this stuff right now you will really reap the compound rewards in the years to come as this tech continues to develop and it only gets faster and stronger and better. But I'm sure you guys didn't come here to listen to my macro takes on AI. So let's actually talk about some technical stuff. What can we do today to make more or better ads? And let's get technical. It's going to be pretty fast paced, guys. It's going to be very tactical and hopefully very actionable for you. The Motion team have done a good job in letting everyone know the recording is going to be available after this. I also will be sharing these slides, so you're more than welcome to take notes but you will have access to the recording and the slides at the end of the presentation. So I've split this down into two sections. We've got video ads and we have image ads. I've put this in chronological order throughout the creative workflow process. So let's start off with video ads and a tool that I'm hoping, if you're on this summit, that you've heard of, called ChatGPT. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through all of the mainstream use cases like getting it to write scripts or getting it to show the benefits or the pain points. Most of us already do that. I'm going to show you a few more niche use cases that we have at AdCreate and how you might be able to apply that in your own creative strategy. The first analysis I like to run with ChatGPT is called a competitor gap analysis. Actually, as I was watching the video before I came on stage, exactly what Motion have just implemented into the new version of Motion, which I'm very pumped about. But the idea here is that we're looking at our competitors and we're saying to ChatGPT, hey, here's our competition, here's their review page. I want you to look at the similarities, the differences, and most importantly, what are the opportunities for us to take in angles in our ad creative. This is an example that we did for Huel, where we looked at AG1 and Soylent, and we found that in AG1 and Soylent, customers were pretty dissatisfied with the taste of it. We didn't actually get that in Huel's reviews, and actually many people said that they were very happy with the taste. So we leaned into that in an angle in our statics and in our video ads. And we found many winning ideas and angles from looking at what our competitors are weak at and what we are strong at, or at least what our competitors are weak at and like customers aren't dissatisfied with. And there's a lot of opportunities you can get from doing analysis like this through GPT or through Motion. One-liners is another use case that I love. If you followed my content in any capacity over the last few months, you'll know that I'm a big fan of generating, like taking the phrases and words that our customers use when they're talking about our pain points, when they're talking about their desired transformations, and sprinkling that into our creative, sprinkling into not just the creative, actually, into the landing pages and into the post-purchase as well. Did someone just change my view? I think I've gone very big there. Let me try and change that as I continue going through the slides. Okay, so one-liners are great for looking through your reviews, and if you have a lot of reviews, this is particularly helpful. We can look for these kind of one-liners and use them in statics, use them in mashups, or use them in headlines and hooks in our videos. And we don't just have to do this for ad comments. We can do it in Reddit posts, we can do it in articles, we can do it in forums, and social listening with ChatGPT as well. And yes, you can do this stuff manually, but you can analyze 20, 30, 40 at a time if you do it through ChatGPT. So for example, I put in a Google search saying how to get rid of dandruff. And I found this Quora post, put it into GPT and gave it the prompt below. And it gave me a load of golden nuggets that I can take and I can use in my strategy. There is no home remedy for dandruff, believe me. Or my dandruff started spreading to different body parts like my forehead, ears, cheeks, chest, back and thighs. Not good, but good for ads. And I can do that with many different articles, Reddit posts, forums, etc., and listen through ChatGPT. And actually, when you think about it, guys, like that's reviews and social listening, but most of the creative research process for your audience is just a process of collating and organizing information. And if that's the case, then most of the research that you do can be turned into ChatGPT prompts, or at least aided by ChatGPT prompts. So you can do this with your ad comments, you can do this with your competitor research, you can do this with tickets and surveys. The only part of the research process that you can't really do this for is organic research. When you're looking at TikToks and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, but pretty much everything else can be turned into GPT prompts. And that's why, especially when I was starting out using AI, I built what I called a prompt library. And this is just basically a very simple spreadsheet that I log my entire manual process. Whenever I'm doing some manual research, I log the process into GPT. And I think if there is a way to turn this into a prompt. And in many cases, you'll be surprised there is. That's why we've like converted a lot of our research process into AI prompts, and with the help of AI, which means that we can do more research, taking more ideas, and work out what are the priority angles for us to focus on when we're doing our creative strategy. That's the thing here. I don't want to just give you guys prompts. I would rather get you to get into the habit of building your own prompt libraries. I do think there's going to be a premium on strategists in the next few years that know how to ask the right questions to AI. And you don't get that by copying other people's prompts. You get that by developing your own prompts and using GPT to work out what prompts in your own specific research process can be aided through the AI. And if you're too lazy for that, then I do have some of my favorite prompts here. The question I often get asked is ChatGPT or Claude. And in all honesty, I don't have too much of a preference. They're neck and neck for me. I think Claude is slightly better at creative writing and GPT slightly better at organizing and processing data, which is why I tend to use it for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I've actually got a prompt cheat sheet of over 50 prompts. If you hang around to the end, I will give you access to this whole prompt cheat sheet. But those are some of my favorite prompts as it pertains to ChatGPT. Okay, I've got another poll for you guys. Another tool that I actually saw people talking about in the chat in the previous talk, which is great. I am going to put up a poll. Who here has heard of or actively uses ArcAds? Either vote in the poll for me or give me a Y or N in the chat. Okay. Again, I see a bit of a mixture. See some Y's, see some N's, a lot of N's. Interesting. Got it. Good mixture. Look, ArcAds, for those of you who are not aware, is a tool for AI UGC where you can type in the text that you want a creator to say, and it will have real creators who have licensed their face away saying those words that you've typed in their voice. So I first made a video about ArcAds in about February or March of this year when it just came out. And since then, I've seen a lot of ArcAds ads on my feed, a lot of AI UGC ads on my feed in general. I still think most of them are doing them wrong. I still see a lot of AI ads where we're running the raw, uncut version with a couple of text overlays, and that's pretty much it. Let me show you an example of an ad that we made with AI for licorice.com. That is, in my opinion, a way better example of how you should use this kind of technology to create ads with AI. I'm not going to play the whole thing through. It's just a GIF of it, but like all these faces in ads are like they're real people, but it's just the AI versions of them. This B-roll is real, but that's an AI version of that girl. Same there, and throughout the entire ad. This is a sped up version of it, but the point I'm trying to get across is when you have AI UGC like this, in my opinion, the technology isn't yet good enough to be able to run it standalone. And I would argue if you have run it standalone and it has worked, it has worked in spite of the creative, not because of. We have done extensive testing on this at AdCrate, and this type of ad where you are masking it with things like B-roll and short clips and green screens and actual real B-roll footage, like that guy at the end there, who some of you may recognize. If you interlace it with real footage, it's very difficult for, let alone like a marketer, let alone a consumer, to be able to tell that these are AI creators. I want to quickly touch on some settings inside of ArcAds. And look, I'm not getting paid for this by ArcAds. I should be. There are other options out there as well. Creatify is there, and there's another one that I think that people use, but I can't remember what the name is. Settings we use inside of ArcAds for voice generation. The speed we set at 1.1 to 1.15. Stability we set at 75. And clarity stays as is on the default. Now, obviously, you want to play around for each actor to see what is the optimal setting for you. You can generate the voiceover before you spend the credit and actually generate the video version, which is great because you can do it as many times as you want, tweak it until it's the perfect voice for you. ArcAds also gives this pretty lengthy pronunciation guide, and what you can do with this is like it will tell you how to use caps or speech marks to focus on certain words or phrases that you want like enunciated differently if you like want to put specific emphasis on key points. Now you can use this to put like caps or speech marks on some of your words. What you can also do is you can just go to GPT and you can say, hey, here's my script. Here's a pronunciation guide. Rewrite this script in the way that would sound like a human would read out once it's like according to the pronunciation guide. Those are two both viable options. You've also got the option of using a feature that they launched a few weeks ago, which is called speech to speech, which I'm a big fan of. When you use speech to speech, you can literally talk into Arc Ads and like say your script and say like, this is the best licorice ever, delivered in 2 to 3 days, 50 plus flavors, go and get it now. And in your tone and inflections, but in the actor's voice that you select, it will give you your AI video. And this is very useful for people who are struggling to find the right tone inflections, or your voice sounds a little bit inauthentic when you use the text speech feature. So between the 3 options that you've got there, there's definitely a lot you can do to make sure that your voices end up sounding authentic. Oops. Okay. I put this slide in here, partially as a bit of a joke, but partially because people always respond to my AI stuff saying, oh, but I can tell it's AI. It doesn't really perform the ad account. This is a motion screenshot of an ad that is currently winning right now 100K spent in the last 30 days, guys. And I've got multiple examples like this that I could show you. AI ads are working. I will candidly say that like this is still the minority of our content, and by no means is every ad that we're producing an AI UGC ad like this. But I'm saying that expect this technology as it gets better to become more prominent, and I think it's naive to not at least give it a go and see if it works inside your account. The other thing that I want to note here is look at those 2 bottom numbers, everyone. 11% hook rate and a 2% hold rate. Let's stop glorifying hook rates and hold rates like they mean anything for performance. They are good diagnostics to see if we can improve an ad, but it does not mean anything. If I've got a 70% hook rate, which I see a lot of people flexing, that does not mean anything about how the ad performed. At the end of the day, if you do not have relevant attention, attention means nothing. But I digress. By the way, if you're a creator, there's no reason why you shouldn't go and offer this to your clients. Like why you shouldn't go and pick a bunch of creators on like AI creators and offer to your clients, like, I'm a human creator. I've also got AI creators with me. I don't know if that would make you more sticky. Maybe it would. If brands would rather work with a diverse group of creators rather than just one person, but it could be something to discuss with the clients that you work with. Okay, next tool is a tool called Air. Let's talk content management and repurposing. Air is a great tool that allows us to tag all of our assets as they come. We have someone full-time working on tagging Air assets. I mean, obviously we do through an agency. You likely won't do if you're a brand. But when you get to the point where you're spending a lot and you have a lot of assets inside of your folder, you'll be very glad you put in a system like this. We can tag things like studio A-roll, B-roll, statics, UGC stuff, voiceovers. These are all custom variables, by the way. So you can go and set up by value prop. You can go and set up like hook body CTA, so that when your editors are editing videos, then they can just filter down for UGC B-roll by Hannah for SKU X. And like I can pick from 10 assets rather than having to pick from a Google Drive of 100 different or 100 or 1,000 different assets. I can't tell you how important our editors find this software. Again, there are also other alternatives like Playbook, or I think Opus just announced yesterday they're going to compete with these guys. So whatever you choose, something like this is much better than a Google Drive or a Dropbox. Let's just say, for example, right now you're working with 10 content creators a month or a quarter, whatever it is, and you're paying $200 per creative. You're spending $2,000 a month on ads. Let's have a think. And if you've got an editor who you're paying a few $100s a month and $100 or so in subscriptions, and they're able to produce an extra 20 mashups for no additional creator costs, suddenly we've gone from $200 an ad to just $87 per ad. That's that's more than half in the cost per creative. Now, what if instead of working with human creators for $200, we work with AI creators? Now we're looking at just $23 per ad. And guys, please don't misconstrue this and go and throw away all of your human creators. I think that's a very stupid thing to do. The reason that I am showing you this is just to give you some perspective on how much more volume you can do when you integrate this into your workflow. Like I said, I'm very much in the minority of our ads that are being done through AI, but it is growing. Okay, let's talk about the next tool, Magnific. This is an AI tool that you can use to upscale assets from ads. And I want to talk about, carry on talking about the idea of getting the same from what you already have, like not spending any extra in creative costs and trying to see if you can get more out of it. What you'll find when you watch your ads back, or at least that we found in many cases, that there are multiple points of the ad that you can use as statics and like add overlays on it, add captions, etc., and turn them into statics. What Magnific does is it helps you take those, if they are low quality, and upscale them into ready to test static ads. Now, I'm not sure if the screen share here does the best job of it. I mean, whether you use Magnific or not, I don't really care, but like it is useful to do this. So even if you don't, just to take frames from your static ads and put captions on them, like we did for this one here for licorice.com. Once again, costs nothing to make, feels super, super native, and anyone can make these in minutes. Great ads that you can improve your volume in like literally today. Okay, let's talk about Google AI Studio. I'm going to talk about analysis now. Of course, like every person in this summit, if you are on here, there is no reason not to be using motion. I love motion. It's an essential part of our workflow. And I don't know where we'd be without it. Another analysis tool that I have been very interested in recently is Google AI Studio and Gemini. And actually motion team, like I'd be curious to see how much of this is actually built into the new AI stuff. And if not, how much of it we could build into the next version of what you're building. Google AI Studio is currently the only AI video tool that can watch and analyze video. What do I mean by that? Well, I gave it our top performing ads to one of our clients, Opopop, and it was able, and I said to it, like, here's the stuff that we've made for Opopop that's worked. What do you think the commonalities are in these ads? And like why, like what are some patterns that humans might miss? And I was able to watch all these ads, listen to the audio, and like look at the visuals and pick out for me what was working and what wasn't. I'm not going to show the whole response because it includes some stuff that like I might not want competitors to see. But there were some very good insights in there, and like there's so many. Like given that it can watch videos and then report back, there are so many ideas and like insights you can get off the back of this. For example, I then gave it 5 ads that didn't perform, and I said, look at the stuff that has worked, look at the stuff that hasn't worked, what are the common traits in the stuff that has worked, and what can we avoid in the stuff that hasn't worked? And it gave me a bunch of feedback, and anyone on the ad create team will tell you, like, this stuff is correct. We've been in the Opopop account for a year and a half now. When we focus on product features, and we put less emphasis on taste tests and positive reactions, the ad doesn't perform as well. When we focus on deliciousness and we're just simple and direct, like it performs better. And it did this with 5 ads that worked and 5 ads that didn't. And I mean, I haven't tested like what the limit is and how much you could put through here, but it's really interesting to me. Like there are so many ideas you can get off the back of this. You could put your untested ads in here and you can say like, can you give me feedback? Can you check for spelling errors? Can you check for cultural references in the audience that I'm marketing to? You could put your organic stuff in here. You could put your organic stuff in and say, like, here's all of our organic videos that did over 1 million in views or whatever metric you want to define it by. Like, look at the things that worked in them, and here's all the stuff that didn't do well. What are the commonalities? What should we do more of and what we should do less of? Again, like super, super cheap. You can buy a bunch of tokens for very cheap on Google Data Studio as well. If you're interested in this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other use cases that I haven't covered here. I am dropping a video on YouTube on this on Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. So go and subscribe, type in Alex Cooper ad create. I'm not yet at the level of notoriety where you can type in Alex Cooper and I come up, but we're working on it. Image ads tools. Let's talk about the research process and go back to ChatGPT. A lot of the stuff that we talked about earlier is very much applicable in the static headlines, in the static department. But one prompt that I love to use for statics is this one. In the same way that we filtered out for one-liners, we can filter for customer reviews to put as testimonials. So I said, look through these reviews and find the ones most suitable for a Facebook ad headline. It shouldn't be long, but it should use the customer's language to convey. And like these ads here, super simple. Like no need to overcomplicate our static ads. Bye bloating. The only shampoo that ended my dandruff battle. My husband is 60, but he feels like he's 30. These are all very simple ads that went on and did well inside ad accounts. And they're pulled directly from customer reviews. There's no need to be clever here. In many cases, our customers can be our copywriters. MidJourney, possibly my favorite tool of them all, because I think it's pretty underutilized by creative strategists. We have this kind of notion as strategists that because MidJourney can't generate product images yet, like you can't make good ads from it. From my experience, that is unequivocally not true. In fact, I like to make direct response ads two-way through MidJourney, one through benefits and one through pain points. So, I mean, I just think about like how can we display them as the main image, and then we can put on a bar or a circle like we have done on the ad on the right to display the actual product itself. So if we go and make one for one of our clients, Tumblr, they are a knife sharpening brand, and their value prop is sharpen quicker and have nicer meals, better and easier. I went in and I just put in a very simple prompt. A lot of people online will talk about a lot of people online will talk about like all the knowledge and technical like prompting intricacies that you have to use with MidJourney. I am very much of the opinion that at least for direct response ads, you don't need anything overly complicated. I mean, here is a big juicy steak knife being carved through by a sharp knife, like super simple. And I just generate a load of different variations of this inside of MidJourney. I play with the stylization. Stylization is how quickly, like how much it sticks to the brief. I honestly couldn't tell you what weirdness and variety does. I just like to play around with them, generate a bunch of different variations, and then I just pick the best one. Like that for me is a lot quicker than trying to work out the perfect prompt, enter it, and pick the one we want. You can use the vary buttons, subtle and strong, to adjust the one that you found that you want, which I do as well. But like I said, I just do a bunch of them, work on it until we found the one we want, and then we're good to go. So as you can see here, very simple static ad, a ChatGPT generated headline from customer reviews, a MidJourney image, and a product image at the bottom with a CTA. And all of that took as much as 10 minutes or less really to go and create. And I can put out as many images as I want. I can change the headline, I can change the image, and test that to oblivion with our MidJourney statics. Here are some more that the ad create team put together. We've got a before and after on the left, a very common static concept. We've got a feature highlight in the middle and a bit of a crossover with the ugly ads world for those of you who are into that on the right-hand side with the post-it note MidJourney ad. You could also actually make videos with MidJourney. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is you just put together a script, go to GPT and say like, here's my script, come up with MidJourney prompts for each line, and MidJourney generates the assets and just go and put that into Premiere Pro. This typically works a lot better where you have a problem solution type ad. And as you can see here, we usually sit in the problem with the MidJourney assets, and then as soon as it switches to the solution, that's when we introduce actual B-roll from the real product. Cool. Here's a new tool that I'm very much enjoying at the moment and looking to see how they grow. There's only 2 more left, and then we'll wrap up and we'll do a little bit of a Q&A. Imagine Create is like MidJourney, but think MidJourney with product images. So these images were generated with just the white background product image. And so I just literally just gave it like the shoe and the white background for this one, and the flakes one on the right, I gave it just the anti-dandruff shampoo. And you can prompt it in just like you can with MidJourney. And this is really interesting because you can then potentially eliminate the need to shoot new ads for statics or shoot new product pictures for statics, shoot new product pictures for your site as well. Like when this technology is developed, and it's still pretty rough, you still, if you look closely, can tell this is AI. But Archives was also pretty rough when it launched, and arguably is still pretty rough now, and that's work inside the account. So I'm very much looking forward to see how these guys develop over the next few months as well. Like I said, you can generate with the templates on the right or with the prompts at the bottom. Here's a couple of examples. Once again, super, super simple prompts. And they're not perfect, but I mean, they get in there. These guys are moving pretty fast. Okay, my final tool to share today before I go into a couple of predictions for 2025 and beyond is CreativeOS. CreativeOS is a great tool that we use a lot at AdCreate because it has over 800 static templates, and you can literally take it, copy it into Figma, and then change it out with your image and your headline. That's simple. So if I wanted to go and make this ad, I literally copy it, I put it into Figma, and I've updated it. The eagle-eyed amongst you will see that that's the Imagine Create ad that we just made a moment ago. And I'm going to update it with my picture and my headline, and like, boom, 2 minutes, I've got an ad that's like ready to go. And once again, I can test as many different headlines, as many different product images as I want to. So to summarize, for image ads, we've got ChatGPT for the copy, Air for the assets, storing the assets, sorry, MidJourney and Imagine Create for asset generation. And then we've got CreativeOS for the design and spitting out all of our static ads that we can make a ton of different variations of. And an overall summary across video and statics: to make more video ads, conduct research and ideation with GPT, create AI UGC inside of ArcAds, edit ads inside of Descript, build a content library in Air, use 11 Labs for AI voiceovers, and use Google Studio AI to analyze videos. To make more image ads, use Magnific to upscale images from videos, use GPT to write headlines, create images without product images in MidJourney, create images with product images in Imagine Create, and use CreativeOS with all of the above to generate unlimited static ads. Now, this stuff's changing all the time, as I said at the top of the call. I tweet about it a lot. So if you haven't already, give me a follow on Twitter and YouTube, actually, because whenever something happens, I talk about it. I am a real nerd when it comes to AI and creative strategy. So yeah, follow me if you want to go and follow me. Okay, I put this slide on here mainly because I want to look stupid in about 2 years' time. We've covered the past, we've covered the present, so I thought that I might as well give a little bit on my predictions for the future. Over the short term, I think that AI UGC becomes indistinguishable from humans. Organic creators are constantly looking for new ways to signal that they're not AI and they are real people. I actually think that even though there's going to be a lot more AI ads on our feed, content's actually going to get uglier. And ads are going to get uglier as we try to signal that we are not AI, we are real people. And it'll be interesting to see how the AI tries to play catch up with that, and if it can replicate the authenticity of the real person. It's not going to come as a shock to anyone, but asking AI the right questions becomes a sought-after skill. Those who can do this will be able to charge a premium. It's a skill that we should all be practicing and developing our own prompt libraries. Like I said, I can give you all the prompts, but I would love for you guys to develop your own prompts for your own research processes, because that is how you build the muscle of working with GPT. Over the long term, I think the Meta will develop AI to repurpose existing assets inside of Ads Manager, and it will deliver one-to-one custom ads, depending on what people convert off of, because I know that Evan converts off of 3 Reasons Why, and Elliot converts off of a before and after. I don't think this is going to replace creative that we make, because you still need net new stuff. But I do think that Meta are going to provide supplementary creatives because they've already got all the footage inside your Ads Manager, especially if you spend a lot with them. So those are my predictions. That's all I've really got for you in terms of today's talk. I do want to leave you with a quote, though, that I think about a lot when it comes to AI. Future doesn't belong to those who know the most. It belongs to those who learn the fastest. And the fastest way to learn when it comes to AI is through doing. trying all the tools, making the connections, asking the questions, and really like bear hugging this stuff. Because like I said, you will reap the compound rewards over the next few years if you're on the forefront of this rather than trying to play catch up. And finally, as I promised, I've got some free resources for you. If we could put this in the chat, that'd be great. Otherwise, I've got the presentation slides. I've got my GPT prompts cheat sheet, my entire creative strategy process for making winning ads, and my creative strategy research template. All of that you can access for free at adcrate.co/resource/summit, adcrate.co/resource/summit. And I do have something to pitch to you guys today. It's not a course. It's not even my services. It's actually a job. So if you're a creative strategist, preferably one with good experience, we are looking for someone who's full-time, someone who is remote. This was actually one of our shoots in LA a few weeks ago, which is a lot of fun. But this is a remote role. And we're always looking for more talented strategists to join our small but mighty team. So go to adcrate.co/careers if you're interested in applying. And our wonderful head of strategy, Anna, will pick up your application and go through it and get back to you. Okay, I don't know if I've gone over or not. If I have, I apologize, motion team. Great, cool. I'll open the floor up for any questions now, and we could take it from there.
Nah, man, you killed it. You killed it. This is such a hot button topic. So like the fact that you can get on this stage, rock out and crush it, especially when it's just like polarizing to a lot of people. Congrats, man. Show love in the chat, y'all. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. And I know I walked away with some stuff. How you feel, man?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling good. Thank you for having me on again. And yeah, hope people got value from it.
Amazing. Okay, everyone, get your questions into the Q&A tab or continue to upvote, because where I'm going to start with the Q&A is just what have the most upvoted questions been, so we can get the man himself answering all this good stuff. Okay, fantastic. So the first question that I see up here is that now digging just into your opinions, more or less, right? So Alex, on your end, Christian asks, do you feel like AI takes any of the personality out of the creative?
Yes, I do. I think it takes personality out of the creator, because at this point in time, the technology is not there yet to replicate the authenticity of humans. I don't know if it ever will be. Like, that's what I'm really curious to see. Will it get to the point where, like, right now, if I'm a human creator, like, there are a lot of like subtle tricks that I might use to try and signal that I'm not AI. I might like start the video by putting my phone down so you can see me. I might record from a low angle so you can see my double chin. Like, little like intricacies like that I wonder how AI will be able to replicate. But yeah, it does take the personality out of creative. I guess from a strategist perspective, it's still the same skills that you would use when you're writing a brief for a human creator that you use for AI creators. But I don't disagree. It does take the personality out of creative.
So things are evolving quite a bit. And the next question we have here is from Crystal. And honestly, there was a similar question just in the Savannah session around the FCT guidelines and what you can and label and can't, and how seriously do you take it. So in this world, don't you have to label it made with AI in platforms, and then consumers tend to react negatively, or any context there?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, look, you should be labeling it. For all of our ads that we run with AI, we do have a disclaimer at the bottom of the ad, the ones that are live. Whether people do it or not is a different question, but for all intents and purposes, you should be labeling all of your AI creatives. And what you absolutely should not be doing is making I statements with AI, because that is now a false claim. Like, you can't say, this is the best licorice I've ever tried if you're an AI creator, because that's just factually not true. So yes, you should be labeling and not using I statements in your script at all.
Cool. Now there's a couple different questions that I'll probably start rapid firing you just around like tech stack, and like first one being from Kennedy. It's just like, do you recommend paying for the higher version of ChatGPT in your world?
I mean, yeah, we do. It's just, yes, I would.
Cool. And then another one with ChatGPT in there is thoughts on Perplexity versus ChatGPT.
Great question. Perplexity is great for research. It weighs its answers more towards studies. So when you've got questions like, I mean, I actually didn't put the slide in today, but like when I've got questions like give me 5 shocking statistics about dandruff, I will use Perplexity for that, because it's good at like looking at studies and weighing it towards research. I prefer GPT for the most part, but if I've got a prompt like that, I will always put it through Perplexity to see if it links me to any like studies, Reddit posts, etc., to get second thoughts.
It's always so funny seeing the examples that people pull from. Like, I wonder if you were working on something with dandruff more recently, and you're like, ah, that's why it lines up so nicely.
Maybe.
Next question we have in here is coming from Kristen. So Kristen's asked, do you have a favorite AI tool for animating static ads efficiently?
Honestly, I would have to ask my lead editor on this one. If he's in the chat, maybe he'll be able to answer this. I believe that we do all of our stuff inside of Premiere Pro and After Effects. But no, that's all we use for the majority of our statics that get animated.
Okay. Now, there are some questions that are coming in that are actually quite tactical that I'm noticing. So one of the ones that pops up from Aaron's end is literally, I've wanted to try making AI images for my product, but our product is a bottle. How would you say to showcase a health supplement, maybe an AI photo of the ingredients? That was probably like a live brainstorm, but any thoughts on this one?
That's an interesting one. So, I mean, there are going to be some products that are inherently easier to advertise. Like if you're referring to like a MidJourney ad, if it's pain points, it's usually super easy to generate things to do with pain points. Benefits is a little bit more difficult, and like for at least from my experience, a little bit harder to make work. You could, if you have some cool ingredients, go and do some MidJourney images of those and like some kind of mesh of ingredients. One ad that we've made for a liver enzyme supplement was like, it was half of like, it was a bottle, and half of the bottle was like the real bottle, and the other half was like MidJourney generated like assets of the different ingredients. So you could do something along those lines, but that's not the easiest product to showcase through an AI photo.
Very cool. I feel like with minimal knowledge of any additional details, I feel like that's the best answer you can give.
I mean, yeah. You can DM me on Twitter. Yeah. We can brainstorm together.
Yeah, everyone, check out that docs tab. That's where you can just see all of the ways that you connect with Alex and his company. So feel free to tap in, okay? Sweet. Dave has a question here, which I think I know the answer, but just to pop it up. Dave asks, do you use AI for other types of media that are not social media ads? For example, like TV, if it's national wide, print, or anything there?
Cool. Good question. The extent of it, like I only use it for social media ads because that's what we do at our company. I could direct you to a resource who I think could be useful. There's a guy called Rory Flynn, Rory FLYNN, who does great content on AI for more like enterprise companies and stuff that would be used outside of social media ads. So go and look at his LinkedIn, look at some of his talks, and he might be someone to look at for that.
Now, I think like the biggest thing that people are starting to ask about now are just more of the ethics behind AI, more or less. And I think like if this is an area that I think we should talk about more or less. So I think one of the big things that pops up is Gigi has the most upvoted question right now is how do you mitigate an environmental and ethical impacts of AI use? Now this is quite philosophical. You want to take a stab at it?
Look, what I'll say to you, Gigi, thank you very much for raising this. I'm not saying that I use everything that I've talked about here today. I'm just putting it on the table to let you guys know what's possible, and you can decide how far you want to take it. I explore AI because I'm interested in it, and I want to see how far I can push it. I don't necessarily agree with all the tools or like how they are used. I've shared how we use it. Like I said, we don't make I statements. We don't make things that break FTC guidelines, and we do always put disclaimers on our ads. However far you want to take it or however far you're comfortable is not a decision I can make for you. Without meaning to give like a political answer.
Yeah. But I also think we're just like in my world too, it's just like everything's evolving, right? And I think like you need to express and test and find the boundaries of what it starts to look like without crossing that boundary. And that's exactly, I feel like, what you talked about today. So it works out quite well.
I mean, yeah. And look, what I will say is like boundaries change. When I released the AI, the ArcAds video in March, I got, even though it's not my product, I got a load of hate for it, like a load of hate. People saying this is unethical. How can you do this? Like, this isn't going to work, that people are going to ban this. And now kind of like a lot of people that I know use ArcAds. So I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that like boundaries will change over time as this becomes more mainstream adopted. like I said, I can't make the decision for you. You just got to decide where you stand with it.
And our job is to make people think at the end of the day. So it's like whether they agree or not, it's just like providing insight into all elements of what they need, in our case, to make great ads come to life. So I feel like knocked it out of the park, man. Knocked it out of the park. Alex, man, appreciate you coming through, rocking out, absolutely crushing it, man. Thanks a ton for your eyes and ears. I appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you guys.
It's time to ship more winning creative with Motion's creative analytics platform that helps you scale winners into unicorns and helps you figure out where your ads might need just a little more help. Join over 2,100 teams shipping winning ads with Motion like Vuori, True Classic, HexClad, and more. Get a free VIP tour today, and you can see how Motion can help your creative strategists and your media buyers speak the same language.